After receiving sage Narada in court, Yudhisthira heard of the Rajasuya sacrifice, a ceremony that crowns one as emperor of the earth. But unlike most kings, he did not react with excitement. Instead, he fell silent, lost in deep thought. To Yudhisthira, power meant nothing unless it served the people. He summoned his brothers and ministers to ask what was best for the entire kingdom. In his kingdom there was peace. There was no crime, fear, or disease. There were plenty rains and crops. Farmers, traders, artisans, all thrived. People had work, dignity, and peace. There were no corrupt officials, no oppression, and no division among classes. Even the lowest citizen was treated like family. Yudhishthira's rule was so pure that he was called Ajatashatru, one who has no enemies. Each of his brothers served selflessly. Bhima ensured justice. Arjuna stood guard over the kingdom. Sahadeva and Nakula were wise and impartial. Together, they created a land that mirrored heaven. Other kings looked up to Yudhishthira not with envy, but with reverence. After deliberation, Yudhishthira's ministers finally told him to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice and claim his rightful place. But still, Yudhishthira hesitated. He weighed his kingdom's strength, the resources, the timing. He knew real leadership required restraint, not hunger for power. And so, he turned to Lord Krishna. Yudhishthira asked Narada to travel to Dvarka and seek Krishna's guidance. For only Krishna, birthless and all-knowing, could judge whether this sacrifice was truly righteous. Narada returned from Dvarka with an answer that Lord Krishna had heard Yudhishthira's plea and had agreed to return. The day Krishna entered Indraprastha, the city trembled in quiet reverence. This wasn't just a noble guest arriving, this was the arrival of divinity. Inside the royal court, Yudhishthira rose. He stepped forward like a servant greeting his eternal master. In front of kings, sages, warriors and gods, he offered the highest seat to Krishna. Then Krishna told Yudhishthira that the Rajasuya sacrifice must be performed because the world was ready for Dharma, justice, to reign again. For the sacrifice to be complete, all kings must acknowledge Yudhishthira's sovereignty. While many did so willingly, one man stood in the way, Jarasandha, the ruthless king of Magadha. He ruled with cruelty. He imprisoned 86 kings and sacrificed human lives to fuel his twisted sense of power. He had humiliated kingdoms, and even challenged Krishna more than once. As long as Jarasandha lived, no Rajasuya would ever be complete. But rather than war, Krishna proposed a different path. He, Bhima, and Arjuna would leave that very night. They would infiltrate the enemy's kingdom and challenge Jarasandha to a duel. And Bhima, born of Vayu and trained for this moment, would fight the tyrant to the death. As the three warriors disappeared into the shadows of the night, Yudhishthira waited in silence, praying for their safe return.